Hello world, it's Friday or Saturday or Thursday or whatever day it is. It is time for the Fancast, episode 11, where we suss world-class bullshitters, episode 85, and other things. And with us tonight, we have a visitor. Goes by the name Tommy Callaghan. Step up.
Hey guys, I'm just really happy to be here.
Hey, nice to meet you, Tommy.
Welcome, Tommy. And we also have on the line Liquid Pro.
Did you see the pool? They flipped the bitch.
So that's all we have on the line tonight. Some guys couldn't make it for various reasons, but they'll be back soon enough, and we'll get going. So we had episode 85, which was an interesting episode. We had various topics. We'll get to all kinds of things, including Curtis and Dustin and all that other stuff. But first up, we had, it seems to be waffling. It's like it's confirmed, it's not confirmed, it's confirmed, it's not confirmed. There's a bazillion videos that are in my YouTube suggestion list about Obi-Wan movie being confirmed. And so I'm going to say it's confirmed. There's talk of whether or not Ewan McGregor is going to be there, not be there, when it's going to be set. What are your all thoughts?
Is it happening? Is it not happening? Is he going to be in it? I'm sensing a clusterfuck in the future.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a terrible movie.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Tommy.
They're movies that nobody's asking for.
Yep.
Tommy makes a great point.
Yeah. And I've had people tell me, and I've seen comments as well as in person, well, we don't know what Obi-Wan was up to between episode 3 and episode 4. And I'm like, yes, we do. He was watching over Luke. He can't just go wander off for 6 months, and if Luke suddenly uses the Force and Vader senses him, he could be, long dead. So to me, it's just dumb. It's more Disney. They are scared absolutely to death to do anything semi-original. They rewrote the canon of Episode 4 with Rogue One. Who God only knows what they're going to do in this, with the Obi-Wan movie. And we have the Han Solo clusterfuck that's going, and who knows what's going to happen with that. I mean, let's just change directors again because reasons. How much of that are they going to have to reshoot and reshoot and reshoot? And it just, ugh.
Well, you're pretty much hitting the nail on the head there. They're afraid of doing anything original, and it's been. I haven't seen. I shouldn't really be one to talk, but from what everybody, I keep hearing about it from about episode 7, just pretty much how it was a rehash. Like they just changed it just enough so that it would be considered new or something different. But the reality is, you look at the outline, it's basically the same damn thing. And Disney, sometimes they'll strike up, they'll do something that's original, and then they'll follow up with something that just goes back into a repetitive formula. So I think that's pretty much the issue here. They're afraid of doing anything different. They're afraid of doing anything new. Something that could potentially be great and stand out and, possibly age well in the future.
Right.
Yeah, I read an article the other day from The Guardian. It's a British newspaper. And they said that, like, this Star Wars movie, like, Episode 8 has to really deliver because 7 pretty much was not really all that great as it was cut out to be. And it was more or less fueled by nostalgia. And so this new movie's got to, really, Episode 8 has to bring it. And then the Han Solo movie has got problems. I just don't see where this is going in a positive direction.
Well, there's a lot of people out there that is going to be, oh my God, Star Wars. I know we talked about it weeks ago, like the second episode or something about, Ermagerd, Star Wars. And at some point, I keep waiting for people to at least semi-wake up to this garbage. It is a nostalgia train. It's got to derail at some point. And the way things are going in the country right now, the way these program robots are running around, I think it's going to be like a scene out of 1984 where the crowd just flips a switch, and all of a sudden it's going to be mass chaos, and people are going to be burning Mickey in effigy with Star Wars stuff, and Star Wars is going to go so quickly down as a brand that it may never recover.
I mean, I was, what you're bringing up right now, I hadn't even actually considered that. But you basically also brought up another interesting point right now, is like how things are going in the country. Not so much the country itself, but just the world in general, culture-wise. How basically, and I've mentioned this numerous times already, but it's really important that people understand this. And I'm not talking about like us, but people out there, the people who are still refusing to see, either they're refusing to see it or they don't want to see it. Like they don't want to see it or they just don't see it. And what it is that there is an agenda through all these things. It's all about this whole diversity, empowerment, everything. Like we never really had to force that before as much as now. Like now it's ridiculous. And the reason why we have this is because you have these people who have power now, like these people who are now directors or screenwriters or whatever the case may be. And they are putting their political agendas into these movies, and all it really is doing is hurting the brand. It's really just hurting, in many ways, the legacy of movies. I mean, look at what happened with Ghostbusters and that clusterfuck, and how there was actually a pushback. It's like, enough is enough. Just go back to making good movies. If you're going to put some type of message in your movies, be subtle about it at best. Don't try to like insult your audience into making them think that they're racist or anything like that because they don't like it because of a particular reason, because they're not. Most people just want to see some good damn quality entertainment, and I think that's very lacking nowadays, especially since we live in what I like to call an ADD culture, where people like they'll see one thing 1 minute and then they'll move on to the next thing next. I remember how at least with the prequels, I don't know about you guys, but I know around here definitely, when the prequels came out, even though they weren't great, at least they were being discussed for months when they came out. Now it's like, oh, Star Wars came out, and like within the first week, like it died down, like the hype, people no longer talked about it. It was like whatever else was new that week or that month.
Yeah, and that's why I call it whatever you want, paranoia, unjustified fear, whatever. These people who are just in gaga, if they could, record a melting turd for 2 hours and say Star Wars the turd days or something, and just as long as it has Star Wars in the title and have a little bit of hype, there's a lot of people who are going to, these cucks want to just latch on. They want to be accepted. They do all these videos, I don't know if you've ever watched some of these reaction videos. It's just insane. They're yelling and screaming. It's not just Star Wars. Unbelievable, stupid, fake reactions. And my fear is that, yeah. And then when they turn, it's not going to be subtle. It's not going to be like, oh, wait a minute. Well, how come we're not getting any new movies? This is the same stories over and over. And that's why I said I think it's if they could be flipped one way to be unbelievably in love and orgasm every time they see the Star Wars logo or see a lightsaber, that also means they could easily be flipped. When they flip back and the pendulum swings, it's not going to stop in the middle. It's going to swing all the way the other way, and Star Wars will be done for probably 30 years before it gets a reboot or something.
I hope it never comes down to that, and I really hope something changes down the line. But with the way things are going, and I don't blame you for having the whatever you want to call it, just foul paranoia, whatever. But if it really goes down if it really keeps going any further the way that it is, it's all I could see is like a dark, all I could see is like a dark, like era of entertainment where all it is just political messages. I mean, obviously I didn't watch the movie. I actually saw it through I Hate Everything, the review. And even he was talking about how Sony, and big surprise there, right? Sony of all people, of all companies, how they released the Emoji Movie and how it got terribly rated. But he even went in his review dissecting how they had a character in the movie who had to be the strong female lead, I need no man in my life type of character. And like you could tell that was the message they wanted to portray with that character. And sure enough, look what it did for the Emoji Movie. That clusterfuck that basically was like an 80-minute ad. So I hope. I mean, and here's the thing: companies like Sony and Disney, yeah, they could release movies and movies can flop or whatnot, but they still have money, so they can still continue releasing trash. And you know that event. Oh shit.
Uh-oh.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, he said, "Oh shit!" And, like,
So that's what they're back
did you drop something,
Yep.
man?
to me.
Yeah. You said, "Oh shit!" It's
I
like,
was on my phone.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I forgot to mute my phone. I usually mute it for this thing, and out of nowhere, like almost dropped it. Like I didn't even know I was sitting under my phone. Yeah,
What
it
a
caught me by
what a fucking amateur.
surprise. Yeah, Tommy, you haven't felt the phone vibrate in your pocket before?
No, I always turn it off before my show starts.
Touche.
I put it on super silent.
Super silent.
Yeah, no vibrations, no sounds.
Is that known as off?
Yeah.
You're missing. Yeah, but that was pretty much it. Like I have this fear myself, Brainmuffin, that it's gonna come down to a point where it's like you said, it's just gonna be let's flip a switch on and people are just gonna like that scene from 1984 where they start yelling and shouting at what they're being told they need to yell and shout at, but then they show Big Brother and it's like like euphoric for them, and all they do is just slap a label on it like Star Wars or any other franchise that let's just hope does never gets taken over, because we've already seen what happened with Ghostbusters, seen what happened with Star Wars, and it's not going to end there. It's going to continue as long as these people are still in the industry pulling the strings.
I had a big brother once. He used to beat me up. I got my revenge, though. I shoved him down a flight of stairs. He can't walk no more.
Well, then he's not beating anybody up anymore either. That's good.
Yeah, that's
Tommy,
what happens.
You your big brother?
That's what happens to bullies.
Tommy, I just want to ask you a quick question. Are you your own brother?
No, his name's Mitch.
Mitch.
Yeah, they used to call him Big Mitch. Now he's Mitch the wheelchair bitch.
I snorted.
He shouldn't have took my lunchbox.
Oh God. Tommy, you're all right, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, in that weird sort of way. So, yeah, I just, because there's a scene, I never saw the movie. I mean, I read the book a long time ago. I think I read it in 1984 or 5. But there's a scene in the book where the crowd, they're at war with some country, and I think I brought this up before, they're at peace with some other, and then it flips in the middle of the speech. Whoever's speaking is given a piece of paper that the war has turned the other way, and he just flips. He keeps the speech the same, but he flips the countries around, and then people start to notice, and the crowd reacts like this was spies of the enemy have put all these fake signs up, and they start tearing all this stuff down. And it is, I mean, I don't want to. I know somebody's going to think I'm belittling what happened in Charlottesville, but it's like the exact same reaction. It's just like such a programmed response. Throw these people together, and it's a powder keg. And I'm just fearful that for Star Wars, Star Trek may actually have a similar thing. I think Star Trek Discovery, the old fans, here's what I noticed about on YouTube and stuff. Newer fans who really are introduced to Star Trek from the movies are excited. Anybody who watched the original series or Voyager or Next Generation or Deep Space Nine and liked, it's either hesitant or trepidatious. And you may end up with a cultural, a generational battle here, because they've really screwed up Star Trek a lot, and I think their new series is going to make it even worse. So,
I mean, it is definitely a generational thing, because if you think about it, it's always about I think there was something in damn it, it was a Simpsons episode where Homer had an issue with his kids and the type of music they liked. And it wasn't because the music was offensive or anything, but because he felt like the music that they liked or the things that they were into were like subpar. And he has a flashback to when he was, when he first listened to rock and roll, and his dad is telling him to turn that like double music down, essentially, right? So Homer tells, younger Homer tells his dad, Abe Simpson, "Hey man, be cool, get with the times." And then Abe basically responds, he's like, "Oh, there was a time when what I like was cool, and then it became cool no more, and the same will happen to you." And it's essentially what happens almost every generation. Like what we liked, when it was popular when we were growing up, or when we were watching it at that time. You have to be there at that time sometimes to really understand why these things weren't as enjoyable as they were. I mean, yeah, they'll always be available for future generations, but sometimes because of the generational gap, they won't understand the significance of it. And it's that's the reason why most of us, the older generation, we pass along that kind of like wisdom. We'll pass along the stories, so give them an idea of, hey, look, this is what it was like. This was going on, and yet this was the kind of quality entertainment. I mean, for me, just wrestling alone, I always talk about it. How I feel sometimes. I think it's the generational aspect of it that's made the quality just significantly like lacking. But it's not even just that alone. It's a lot of things. So, I mean, you're not belittling anything, Brainmuffin, but I share your sentiments. I really do believe that if things don't improve, like I said, we're going to enter a dark era of entertainment where it's just going to be pure propaganda. And if you don't like it, then you're the enemy. And that all goes back to difference of opinion. They want to keep talking about diversity in films when diversity is also should include diversity of opinion, not diversity of appearance or gender or whatever the fuck they want to call it. The whatever is on the goddamn, was that LGBTQ 123 whatever nonsense?
Yeah.
And
well, that's why that guy at Google got fired. I mean, here's a guy who was liberal, supported a lot of liberal causes, and his concern was, hey, I'm not hearing a diversity of ideas. It's just a diversity of what people look or what gender they may, say they are. And I agree with them. I mean, that's to me is those different ideas. It's amazing when you have several different opinions about something, different ways of looking at something, different backgrounds, different philosophies, and you kind of come together and you pick the best out of all of it and meld it together, and you end up with a much better solution. But yeah, and I think it's that may be part of the, that could actually happen. We get basically straight propaganda of whatever side. I mean, I know we pick on SJWs a lot, but you could get, it could flip the other way, and we're getting a bunch of hatred that's the other direction, and it's just going to be just as bad. It's like we don't need this, and then if you disagree, you must be the enemy. It's that if you're not with me, you're against me nonsense. And that it may not. I may still be with you, but I don't agree about this. So it's not necessarily black or white. But I think we beat that horse to death. So let's move on to the one where I have to wonder if Disney's just trolling us fans. The Jabba the Hutt movie.
No. Sorry.
I can't see what that movie would even be about. That would be so interesting. It just sounds retarded.
Well, I put that in my main Facebook stream, and one of my Facebook friends responded, "Slave girl costumes?" But I can't see in this day and age that being in it. As much as young women like to cosplay as slave girl Leia, and that is one of, I don't know if it's the most, I think it is the most common one that's not, gender bent. I mean, gender bent, sexy stormtroopers is also very, very popular. Go look up Leanna Vamp sometime, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But that was not it was somewhat of a controversy back in '83, but they make it out to be bigger than it was. But my goodness, just go to any big Star Wars Comic-Con and just count how many young girls are in various versions of Slave Girl Leia. It is amazing.
I think it taps into a woman's innate needs to be dominated. and told what to do. That's what they really want deep down.
So what you're saying is that they want to be in the kitchen?
Yeah.
And,
They like making sandwiches.
hey, that's pretty dominant in my culture, so we're all good here.
That's why I need to get me one of them beaner broads.
All right, so you should come to New York City anytime. You can take your pick. Wait, are looks an issue for you?
Well, it all depends on what they look like. I don't want to wake up next to some fat chupacabra looking whore.
Oh, damn, so you're gonna have to cross off at least half of New York City with that.
That's not good.
Oh, don't worry, we got some good looking ones, but they'll probably see you more as a sugar daddy if anything.
That's fine. My problem with trying to find Latino girls is by the time they're 24, they've already got like 8 kids.
Oh, damn. Well, here's my advice. At the moment you see one, run. Just run. Don't settle.
Oh, I bounce every time I see them with a kid. Any girl. If she's like, I have a child, I'll be like, well, I'm not interested.
Smart man, Tom. Smart man.
I don't want to see some guy's fuck trophy every day.
You know what, Tommy? I've said it before and say it again. You're all right, man.
Thanks. And you're okay, too, for a Mexican.
You know what? Take it as a compliment.
Well, there you go. Take it as something.
That's how you establish tolerance, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you establish friendships.
Yeah, we can agree and disagree, and we can call each other names, but to quote an infamous Detroitian, at the end of the day, we still share a beer together.
Exactly. I already drank all my drinks. Fuck it.
Fuck Detroit.
I drink you a milkshake. All right.
Damn milkshakes.
I guess.
I know about that. Yeah, it just brought back oh man, you know how people make memes sometimes of these things, right? Well, some people take it a step too far sometimes, and it just brought back a very. I don't want to talk about it anymore. It just kind of became like a war flashback in my head. Ladies and gentlemen.
If you don't want to talk about it, why did you bring it up?
Did you say a war flashback or a warp flashback?
Well, it could be a warp flashback. I went back I felt like I went back in time just now.
I said back in time.
I gotta get back to the past.
Please don't ever do that again.
Don't like my jinging? All right, excellent. So there's one more of these. I don't even know what to call them anymore. Anthology movie, prequel anthology.
Cash cows.
There you go.
Attempts at cash cow. I'm hoping that after the Han Solo one bombs, they don't do anymore. But there's also the rumor of a Yoda movie set somewhere in the past, obviously.
All right, where's the rope?
I think it was Curtis that brought up, this is going to probably be a CGI, a pure CGI, no puppet. I mean, I didn't like the CGI Yoda in the prequels in the first time around. I didn't really. I kind of giggled when he jumped around going against Dooku. But if we get 100, let's say they set this back in the Knights of the Old Republic era, it just, if he goes back that far, I'm not even sure if Yoda's in those, but I don't know. I don't give a crap. No one else does, apparently.
No, it's not that. It's just that I share you again. It's really going back to this whole generational thing. It's just like, how much more are they going to continue doing this? Their excuse is, we're doing this for new generations so that they can bring it to the generations. But I'm like, if that's the case, then why just not re-release the older stuff, which is of good quality? It's aged well or decently at best, depending on your opinion. I think they still look fantastic. I mean, I know it's this whole generational thing where it's like, if it doesn't look HD, it's not worth watching. But why not? I mean, if they really would enjoy Star Wars, just re-release them in theaters, maybe for like a week or two. you're going to get a turnout from not only older fans, but also older fans that are probably going to introduce younger fans to it. Like I've introduced my niece and my nephews to like Ghostbusters, older wrestling stuff, and even older stuff from like when I grew up in the '90s and even in the 2000s. And you know, they enjoy it, like music, movies, and stuff. They enjoy it. They get into it, and they'll sometimes sit down and watch with me. So I'm like, what are they trying to really accomplish here with the Yoda movie, other than, you know, oh hey, it's nostalgia. We're gonna go ahead and try to bank on the older audience so that they can come watch these movies and maybe bring along some kids. And you know what it is? It just, the more and more you keep thinking about it, the more and more they keep putting these movies out, the more and more you either feel frustrated because it's like they're just beating a franchise into the ground and not caring for character development, not caring for longevity, not caring for story, or you're just exhausted because it's like, how many more of these are they going to keep doing before there's an end to it? And you can finally say to yourself, like, fuck it, I'm done. I'm done with it.
Disney can't release the old ones. They have no control over them. They belong to Fox.
Oh, that's true. I almost forgot about. Damn, I completely killed my momentum.
So that's why they have to keep flogging out all these movies no one asked for.
Oh God, that makes it even worse now when you think about it.
I try not to.
See, that's how I feel. It's not that I don't want to. Like, for example, like I know right now it just kind of like went quiet when Brainmuffin finished, but it was more of that like frustration, of that exhaustion. Like, I just don't want to hear any more about these new movies and these new not re-releases, like these new remakes, or these like episode 8 already sounds tiring. Just listening to what, like when they released that leaked script, I'm like, I remember seeing that as a kid. I remember seeing something like that in like throughout the movies, and it's like, come on guys, you know you can do a little better. At least prove that you could be better, or that you can try to at least match the creativity that was Lucas at the height of his career.
Yep, I agree. And it's yeah, I thought they had the rights to Empire and Jedi, but not Star Wars. But let me put it this way: with Disney, you know, Disney had some really incredible animation movies in the 50s and 60s, and even in some in the 70s, even more recently. But and they've even had things like you know, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, which was a pretty good, entertaining movie. And then they had some of these they have created sequels to. Some of these sequels have been horrible. I forget what the second one. I think it was Honey, I Blew Up the Kid was the second one. But they've also had some of these movies where they've had, it's like they make a sequel that doesn't do well, then they'll make a third and a fourth movie straight to video. And they've done this with multiple, I don't know if you would want to call it a franchise, but they've like tried to create franchises. I mean, I think there's even been straight to video on Cinderella. I know there was one for the kids movie, the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. You know, I think Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves, or something like that was the third one. There was a couple other categories of movies like that Disney's done to that. So they have a track record of multiple times over the last 30 years where they've taken some movie and they've tried to make more of it than it was, and then they started direct-to-video releases. And when you think about direct-to-video movies, many times you think of low-budget crap, stuff that was on USA Up All Night on Friday and Saturday nights or something like that. Not a storied production company like Disney, yet they've done it. And I don't know if Eisner was in charge back then. I don't know who was running it back then. I don't remember. But that's the other side of this, is that these movies keep coming out. They get smaller and smaller. It doesn't help the matters that Marvel has done well with their cinematic universe and all their movies. But even now, the big fans are starting to get, it's like, we got to wrap this up. Or we're going to have something, maybe it's not straight to video, but maybe it's in the theaters 3 weeks and then the DVD's out. Because it has a huge opening, it drops 65%, it drops another 75%, and then by the fourth week it might scratch $5 million, and they still got to get their money out of it, so it goes straight to DVD for $25. We'll see, obviously, but I think they're just Star Wars. movie every year, I think, is horrible. It would be great if these movies were good. You know,
definitely.
And like kind of like Jeff was saying, I've seen The Force Awakens once, and that was enough. I saw Rogue One once, and it was enough. Rogue One, I think, had a lot of great potential, but I mean, I was literally for at least the first 2/3 of the movie laughing scene after scene because it was so cringeworthy and trying so hard to be taken as a serious war movie that it failed miserably. And you know, it just, I mean, I was in pain. I was laughing so hard, and it was not a good laughter. It wasn't trying to be funny. But even then, people who like it are like, well, I like K2SO was the best character. Well, so the irony being that all the humans were robots, and the robot was the most likable, charismatic character.
Wow.
So, you know, but that's the future, and we'll see how well it does and how far it goes. But yeah, I think the wheels are wobbling and they're about to come off.
Speaking of a Rogue One, I don't think I ever told you guys a story, and I usually don't like talk about stuff at work because again, I tend to have what pretty much is controversial opinions. Everybody else is, well, that's not the point here. But one time, what was it? The movie Rogue One got brought up in conversation with someone I was talking to. I would say older gentleman, maybe in his late 30s, maybe 40s, possibly 50, approaching 50. Can't be that old compared to me. But he was talking about how Rogue One and how it reminded him of the movie, I think he said The Dirty Dozen. And I'm like, interesting comparison. But even when he made that comparison, you know, basically on the plot, like the whole sabotaging thing and everything, like, you know, like a Suicide Squad of sorts type of thing, he was convincing me more that Dirty Dozen was a much better movie than Rogue One. So it was like, yeah, you made the comparison like maybe by plot only, but you're not really explaining to me how I should be watching Rogue One. Rather, you're explaining to me why I should be watching The Dirty Dozen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And Dirty Dozen is a much better movie.
Oh, yeah. My mom watches a lot of those old movies, especially the stuff with the Bronson films. Oh, my God. Like, Bronson's man. Rest in peace, man. We could use more of you in this world.
Yeah, but then I think that's part of why I was laughing so hard on that movie, because it wanted to be like that. It wanted to be like a Dirty Dozen, but it couldn't be because, you know, there you had a bunch of misfits, and you had, I mean, it's somewhat of a cliche, but you had this training. It's not just a training montage. It was probably the first third of the movie was getting the group together, understanding what their mission was going to be. They all had a specialized task. They memorized it by, you know, chanting this having a chant to know all the steps in case, and because if someone fell and it wasn't there, someone else may have to take their place, and so they came together, and most of them died. I mean, similar to Rogue One, and well, in Rogue One, I guess they all die, but they all came together, and you felt something. With Rogue One, you had these interchangeable, so-called diverse characters that most of whom had zero bearing on the mission. None. Half of that group could have been killed in the very first encounter, and it made zero difference. Having Jen Erso there made zero difference. Her contribution was zero. It could have been so much better if it hadn't been it was just Kathleen Kennedy. You know, white, brunette, short, heroine, and that's all that mattered.
At least she looked better than that Dyke Ray.
Oh, Davy Ridley?
Yeah, that one.
Davy Ridley, yeah.
Davy.
The androgynous Davy.
God, talk about a woman that isn't attractive at all, man.
I try not to talk about her.
It's kind of... I mean, like, if the day after tomorrow it turned out she had some nude leaks, I have a feeling like I would just stare at those and be like, God, this is just sad.
She looks like she'd be a dead fish in the bed.
Absolutely.
Probably. I'd sooner do Felicity. Oh my God, Felicity Jones just is a gorgeous looking woman.
She's actually pretty attractive.
Oh God, yes. I mean, I'm not gonna watch a movie just because she's in it, but please, please, if there's a fapping in 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever, Felicity Jones, please, even one photo. That's all I'm asking for.
Hang on.
Wait. Are you the hacker known as 4chan?
4chan's its own like thing.
Really? I didn't know.
It's not just one person.
CNN told me it was a hacker.
CNN is retarded. You shouldn't get your news from them.
I try not to, but unfortunately, that's all we get fed in New York City. So,
Communist News Network.
Oh man.
Or as we used to call, yeah, there you go. We used to call it the Clinton News Network back in the 90s.
And there went basically our potential to wind up on someone's recommendation feed.
Oh well, their loss.
All right. Well, yeah. So yeah, man, it really is a. God, it looks like it's just gonna get worse. Like I can't stress it enough. I really can't. It's just gonna get worse.
Yeah. Well, I think I think the whole thing though, it's gonna get worse. It's something's gonna burn to the ground, maybe figuratively, maybe literally, and then out of the ashes, we'll have something better, hopefully.
I mean, at that point, it's gonna be up to a new generation to take over and pretty much figure out how to go from there.
Yeah.
Well, this current generation gives me no confidence. They're a bunch of pussies.
Oh God, no.
No, they're just well programmed automatons.
Pussies.
Yeah, they're just. I mean, my goodness, they used to see some videos. The coffee shops close 5 minutes early, and they're screaming like they're a toddler in daycare, and that's basically mentally where they are.
No, you are correct. You are correct, sir. And like here especially, like I don't know how it is for you guys and where you guys live, but especially since here it's predominantly liberal city, and again, I don't want to make it as a political thing, but this is the reality. Like people here are just again, I can't stress it enough, and it gets really like irritating to hear them have a conversation sometimes without you being unable to put in your input, without somebody immediately, and it's usually not to make this sound like a race or a gender thing, but it's usually the first ones to act out are usually women or some type of minority. I mean, I might as well just say everybody. And they're usually the first ones to act out and say house racist, race traitor, and everything like that. I'm like, what? I can't have a difference of opinion? What the fuck is wrong with these people? If anything, you want a difference of opinion, because what that does is it opens you to new ideas. It opens you to new possibilities. You want to find solutions in this world, not hold other people back. Because maybe the ideas that I have, maybe the ideas that you have, we could find a compromise somewhere down the middle, and we can actually start looking for some damn solutions, or maybe we could find something that we agree on. But it's like we could talk about like, for example, like if Star Wars got brought up, go to almost like any coffee shop around here, and they're the worst. You'll hear somebody talk about, oh, hey, we're talking about Star Wars, right? Like you can have a conversation, and then at some point now they want to make it political. Now they start, oh, here's the parallels to this, this, and this, and this is why they were trying to like, Hitler and fuck Trump and everything. And I'm like, God, it's like you can't even have a conversation with these people anymore, because if you want to throw your input there, just be ready for a shit show. Is all I could say.
Yeah. Well, no, you're not allowed to have a difference of opinion. That's the whole point.
Despite the fact I'm a beaner of all things.
Yeah, but you're still a man, so that's still a problem.
Well, in my culture, we're allowed to just apparently in my culture we're allowed to freely smack whoever we want. So maybe I should start doing it and say, hey, it's my culture, and just use that as the
yeah. If they slap you back, say it's cultural appropriation.
Hey, it's cultural appropriation. I'm being a man in my culture. Oh God. Poor Star Wars. You don't deserve this.
Alrighty, so I think we've talked Star Wars, at least that part of it. We'll get to some other things later. One of the things that I'd like to take the opportunity to do is congratulate the flagship show, WCBS, on reaching 4,000 subscribers. I do believe it was Reality's Frank who sent the hot pepper chips a long time ago that Dan was supposed to eat, and they still haven't done that.
What is he waiting for?
That's because that Dan Kane guy sounds like a giant pussy.
Yeah, he may have an asthma attack and die. But so listeners,
we can only hope.
Right. So listeners, go back over to the flagship show and comment and say, "Hey, congrats at 4,000K. When does Dan eat the chips?" I don't even know if Jeff has them anymore, but I'm fairly certain it was Reality's Frank who said he provided them. There was, I don't know, some kind of Doritos that were hard to find, and ghost pepper chips or something like that. Seems right. So those would be pretty hot. But congrats, guys, on reaching 4,000. Hopefully you stay there and YouTube doesn't come through and just remove 300 people just because, Saturday.
Yeah, definitely got to say, man, they've come a long way. I mean, I've been watching since like the very first episode. But when I first started watching, I think they were just barely getting to 2,000, and now they've doubled that. Yeah, so congrats, guys. I can only hope that the channel continues growing, and like you said, Brainmuffin, nothing like that bullshit gets in the way. It really is. We're really approaching, like, I don't know what to call it. Really, it's really kind of a scary time, really, if you think about it.
Well, I'm hoping they reach a critical mass of some sort where they start to get recommended more often, especially some of the other shorter videos that Jeff has. And the
shorter ones are definitely great. And if anything, I think those are the ones that help out the most, because I don't know, it's like every time he releases one of those short videos, whether it's people that subscribe to the show or it's people that want to bitch about something that he said, you just see the numbers, like the views are ridiculous. The amount of comments in the section are like hitting nearly 1,000 and stuff. So those short videos really do a lot for the channel.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the episode 85 has reached almost 1,000 views. It's been out. I've been on YouTube. It's only been out 12, 13 hours. That other video from 3 days ago, half an hour, 34 minutes, 57 seconds, 22,000 views. That is great, and I'm hoping that as they grow, we grow. I mean, we have 30 subscribers, and thank you everybody that is subscribed to the Fancast, and we look forward to seeing some of your comments. Right now, most of the comments we're talking amongst ourselves, or we're talking with guys from the flagship show. And I don't know if you guys saw, but they talked about Jeff F. last week, and Jeff F.'s girlfriend posted a comment in 85 this week. So I can't wait for Jeff to talk about that. Notice that. That's good. She bought him one of the WCBS T-shirts, I think, if I remember the story correctly, because they were saying she's a keeper.
No, definitely, seriously, man, keeper. That's all the advice I can give you on that one. The smart woman, you don't find too many of that nowadays, sadly.
Yep. All right. So, all right. So, is there anything else about episode 85 that anybody wants to cover, other than some of the other the change up with what's going on with the show itself? We'll get to that later.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. I would like to say one thing. I would like to say it for a buddy of ours that just couldn't make it tonight. Fuck the porgs.
Yes, Frank's Reality's Frank. I always want to call him Frank's Reality. I always want to do it backwards. Reality's Frank, we do miss you.
Well, if Frank...
And your horrible microphone.
Well, if he ever does his own... Like, if he ever, like, starts doing videos on his channel... Like, I mean, if he ever, like... Obviously, you would have a channel if you have an account, but... If he ever starts doing, like, videos on his own, he should call his channel Frank's Reality. Yeah. And just start it like that. Welcome to Frank's Reality or something like that, like every episode. Not saying anything, Frank, but if you want to, there's an idea.
All right. So I'm going to start this, and then I'm going to let you guys talk because I've got to deal with something really quickly. I'll mute my mic. So the video with 22,000 views in 3 days, which for WCBS is a crap ton, was Star Wars is a dead brand. And this is based off of I think it was a New York Times article or something that Jeff saw. People were talking about a toy glut in general, and they were blaming Star Wars because there's still crap on the shelves from 2 years ago. And he went to many stores around the area here, and some of these were bargain stores. I mean, bargain stores. I mean, he's finding just incredible things, you know, $15 or was it $5 for a used, because I think, you know, copy of The Force Awakens, the DVD and Blu-rays. One of them had action figures, buy one, get 4 free. And if I did my math right, that's essentially 20% off because you're getting 5 for the price of 1. That's unbelievable. So I can say this, having lived through the shortage in '77 when we didn't have any toys because they hadn't made them enough because they didn't realize that the movie was going to explode like it did, and having the certificates and all that stuff, and yes, you could still buy some items when Empire came out, but not many. To me, it is completely fascinating that how they're not only cheaply made, but they are just every freaking where. I mean, they were everywhere in the 70s. I mean, you could find them at goofy places, but it was like you go to a gas station, you might see 20 action figures, and that's it. You're not going to see row after row after row of stuff in every freaking store. It's amazing.
It's junk that nobody wants.
Yeah. So
much.
You guys have something to say about that or not?
I'll let Tommy go first if he wants. If not, I'll go. That's up to him.
Well, I've been to many stores, and you'll still see stuff on the shelves from 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, whenever they started putting it on the shelf, and nobody wants the stuff. It's always there in supply. And everything Star Wars. Just a few characters, but anything Star Wars merchandise related, it's always there.
No, you're right. I mean, me myself, I'm a collector. I like collecting shit. So if I'm into something and I like something a lot, expect me to go crazy with my collections. I mean, this is just the type of fan I can be sometimes. So, you know, whether it's like, for example, like if it's something video game related, wrestling related, hell, if it's even like a movie or something related, like it doesn't matter. Like if I'm a fan of it and I like it enough and I see something, it's affordable, I can buy it. Or even if it's not affordable, I'll save up and get it. I'll make an effort to get it. Sometimes I even wait on lines. For example, like Nintendo did the whole amiibo thing a while back. I'm not sound like a total nerd, but I really liked the amiibos. They were cool figurines, and it came to a point where the demand of them was so crazy. I used to actually wait on lines to get some of them. Granted, I have them now. I'm done with that. Like, I'm not going back to that ever again because it was crazy. But I remember a time when those sold out, like they would sell out. Like we were looking for a particular one. Good luck finding it. You had to resort to the internet. And even at some point, it came to the point that people started buying whatever was left on the shelves because they couldn't get anything else. So you would go to stores and you would see those shelves empty.
Except Princess Peach.
Oh, God, fuck Peach. Having some Smash Brothers flashbacks right now. My asshole nephew, man. My asshole nephew beats me with that fucking character. Anyways, I don't want to go back to another war flashback. But you know, you have that. Another thing I collect, like as of recent, really, is the WWE figures. Now, I'm not a big fan of the Mattel line. If anything, a lot of these figures, especially like the male wrestlers, they look scrawny. I prefer like the Jack Specific when they look like fucking superstars. Like they actually look like people that you would. And you know, the figures were adorable. I saw figures from like the Ruthless Aggression era, and some I may have like one or two left from the Attitude era, but those figures were durable. Like you would actually like smack them and beat them against one another, and they're still durable. They last. Maybe some of the paint chipped off, maybe a finger or two, time, but they were really good. The ones that we have now almost feel flimsy, like they'll break if you pose them the wrong way or something. But even then, there's a demand for them. For example, like with popular wrestlers, for those of you that watch wrestling, like AJ Styles, Seth Rollins, good luck finding those in shelves. And even then, some of like their lesser populars, you might not even find them because people after a while are like, fuck it, I'm gonna just get this. But, and here's where I was kind of waiting for Jeff to put the video. When he put out the video about the Star Wars merchandise, I've passed Star Wars merchandise in a lot of these stores. Toys R Us, Kmart, on Kmart especially, Target. I'm trying to think of other stores I've been to. There's one here in where I live, and well, I'm not gonna reveal where I live, obviously. But here in New York City, we have a store called FYE, For Your Entertainment. You really don't see many of those in a lot of places. Like you name it, a lot of these chains. See the Star Wars figures? They're still there. Rey was supposed to be this popular character. She's like the flagship character now.
But she's not. Nobody wants her.
No, exactly. But according to Disney, that's who should be the flagship character. Nobody gives a damn about her.
No.
I mean, I know some people have opposing views or are either for or not the Funko Pops, that particular merchandise line.
Yeah.
Look at the Star Wars ones. You know which ones are the ones that usually sell out or the ones that usually tend to be very hard to find? And people will be willing to pay good money?
Chewbacca.
Oh, man. Does he bust a cap on someone's ass when he speaks?
I sure hope so.
That'd be nice.
That would be.
But see, now, in some ways, though, the toy sales, ironically, invalidate all these prequel movie crap. Because
Lape is anus.
Yeah. Because it comes back, it's like, what do they sell out of? Well, they sell out of Luke, they sell out of Chewie, Han Solo, and apparently the fins disappear somehow. But everything else is there.
Probably because he's black. Probably not.
He's probably out working in the fields.
Wow.
They send him back to Africa. But, so, it's like, I don't know.
Isn't that what Cuckin said?
I think so.
No, it was Kendo.
Oh.
Kendo. Him.
He said they probably sent him to Africa with all the Super Bowl champion shirts for the teams that lose.
That's right.
Oh, that explains Finn's popularity.
They ought to sell those on eBay. I bet you people would buy them.
Probably. But
I mean, actually, now that I think about it, when I do check the Funko Pops, especially in some of these stores, right, I see a lot of Reys. I see a lot of these other weird characters from The Force Awakens. But the only one I don't see, oddly enough, is Finn. So, yeah, there is something to that.
Huh. He's doing janitorial work.
Oh, so that explains the lack of jobs at a Target.
They only make 6 of them. But anyway, and and Disney gets their money when the stores buy them, not when you do. So all this stuff was either, maybe it's pushed to them, I don't know. So Disney's probably saying, yeah, this stuff is selling great, but it's not true.
I mean, of course, like you said, it's similar how they do with video games. Like, it's like when the store orders the game, yeah, that's when the company starts making money. But then the store now needs to sell that merchandise for it to make money. So if it's not selling, that's bad for the store.
They can't send it back anymore either.
Yeah, and then basically, like, let's say with Rey, right? Now all of a sudden Rey ain't selling. So when the next movie comes out, they're gonna probably become hesitant to want to order more toys, and that could really hurt the future of the brand. So in many ways, Jeff had a point when he says, the Star Wars brand is dead or dying, whatever way you want to look at it.
Yep, and it's not just the toys. I think the movie backlash is going to come. It's going to be horrendous. You know, whether it happens before or after episode 9, I'm not sure. But it would not surprise me if by the time we get to episode 9, it's like they couldn't spend enough money to get the hype up, and it'll be the worst selling. You know, it'll have the worst box office of any Star Wars of the main movies than any of them. So anyway,
only time will tell, unfortunately.
Yep. So any more things on the toys? I mean, I one of the things Jeff lives south of me, so one of the things I could do is go to stores around here and do something similar, I guess, because I never really look in the toy section anymore. My kids.
Well, just to add a little bit more, not to digress too much either, but like when he was showing the larger toys, was it that one that was like $200 and they got like severely marked down? I see a lot of those still available, like at my local Toys R Us and even Target and such. What was it? The Rey dolls, like the actual dolls, like the dress up dolls and everything. I don't see those selling out, and yet they were marketed at girls. And I have a niece. She ain't asking for a Rey figure. She'll still play with, if anything. What was that character that came? Was it Harley Quinn? She's always asking me for, like, if I ever buy her a doll, get a Harley Quinn doll. If anything, DC's been doing a better job than Disney has marketing one of their characters at a younger generation than Disney has. It is on that, and mind you, she hasn't seen the DC movie. She doesn't watch the comics or anything.
Right.
Or read the comics, so that's pretty telling.
Well, Harley Quinn is popular, and I think too because the older women cosplay as Harley Quinn a lot. They tend to do. They've done the version from Suicide Squad and the other previous, because there is a Harley Quinn incarnation where she's more in a clown suit, like a Joker suit.
Yeah, that's the original, I believe.
Right, and then she got really sexy, and it's like, but the cosplayers, especially the professionals, these women with really tight bodies, and obviously in their 20s. They really sex it up, and then that kind of filters down, and that's what the girls want to aspire to, and that's what they used to see, or some version of that. So it doesn't surprise me that the Harley Quinn dolls are more popular because there's different outfits, and Rey's not really a dress-up character. It's not a Star Wars Barbie doll. Is not Rey.
She's not even sexy, man. Like no. It's like who would really want to cosplay as her?
Now,
got like everything covered.
After The Force Awakens come out, now granted, it was Matsuri-Con, and it's a couple years ago. But there was some Star Wars people. There were some people doing Star Wars. One person did Rey. Other people did Leia. A couple people and I don't mean slave Leia. I mean this kind of General Leia, a generic, or sort of from the first movie, but. Ironically, as far as females, the most popular one was, what the hell's her mother's name? Amidala. From episode 2, what she's wearing when they go into the arena. That is a very popular cosplay. Some do it kind of before it gets ripped up, and some do it after, and some do it ripped up even more extreme. And then there were several people Darth Vader. There was one Kylo Ren. There were about 3 or 4 versions of Darth Vader. There were several versions of Darth Maul. And there were a couple of Luke Skywalkers. So, granted, it was not a lot of people. I don't even know if it was 20, 25 people out of however many thousands were at Matsuri-Con. Because it's not a Star Wars convention. But, again, I bet you'd be hard-pressed to find a lot, especially little girls, yes. But anybody 15 or older, you're not going to find many Reys. And now that they've made her look even less like a woman, you're probably going to find even fewer. You might find guys dressing up, young, 12 and 13 or 15-year-old boys doing a Rey gender bender.
If anything, it won't even be gender bending because it's like they pretty much don't. I don't know if it's like Disney or whatever, whoever is pulling the strings. It's almost as if they don't want to portray Rey as a woman. It's almost like they want to portray her as a man, so she's on equal footing or better footing But yeah, it's very telling. And I'm gonna be going to Comic-Con later this year here in New York City, so I'm gonna definitely try to keep an eye out to see what are the Star Wars cosplays and if I see like any rays or anything like that. As well as like merchandise related. Like I said, I keep going to stores. I just pass by them sometimes because Jeff keeps mentioning them, and they're there. Sure enough, I've been to several chains, and I'll also say it's very telling when your merchandise is winding up at bargain stores, because usually, especially how it works around here, if something winds up in a bargain store, it's usually because at some point that figure or that item or whatever just never sold. So, whether I don't know how they acquire them. I know a few stores they'll buy them when they're in clearance at a retailer, like you said, what was it, buy one get four free?
Right.
What was that?
Right. Yeah, that was buy one get four free. I forget where Jeff said that was. And yeah, you could take a gamble and buy a bunch and see if you can sell some of them. Probably. I
highly doubt you will.
No, that's the thing. Is there's a reason you're seeing it marked down that much, because stuff isn't moving. But what I don't understand is why, in some of the stores he went to, why were there 3 rows of crap that isn't selling?
Because again, it's going back to the whole nostalgia thing that you were talking about earlier. They're assuming, hey, it's Star Wars nostalgia. People are gonna buy it because they're nerds and they're gonna buy it. Nerds will buy anything. They don't realize that consumers are a little smarter than that. They're not. They buy it because it has value or meaning to them. I was actually having a discussion about this earlier, related to it was related to wrestling. Like it was something going on. But again, it was talking about, and it was because I was waiting online to meet wrestler for SummerSlam, and somebody on like some random civilian, like some random person asked me, "Oh, what am I online for?" So I made a joke about how, I'm here to meet a very famous wrestler. You probably know of him. He, was very famous, blonde man, bald head. Fortunately, he became a woman now, so that's who I'm here to meet. And people on the line got what I was coming from. But the whole thing I explained to them was, you have these people who will look at us like, oh, they're just waiting for some wrestler. They're waiting for some product. They're a bunch of nerds. They're a bunch of nobodies. No, it's not that we're nobodies or nerds or anything. It's that this stuff has meaning to us, has value to us. It's like talking about the free market and the free world. So we buy it, and the company say, hey, look, this is selling. And that's how we keep getting these. This is us essentially buying nice things. So, if it has no value to nobody, then it's not going to sell. And you're basically going to be left with a product that is crap, or it's a product that's underwhelming, or whatever you want to call it. And your business is going to suffer for it. So that's when you start doing markdowns. And having worked in retail, one thing they've always expressed to us is that when they do markdowns, it's because they're not making money. So now they have to try to clear the inventory to try to make room for product that probably will. And, businesses don't want to fail. They want to succeed. And if you work at these businesses, obviously you want your business to succeed so you can keep your damn job, so you can buy more shit. So, it's like a cycle.
Yep. And if they can sell it, even if, at some point it's, can I just get what I paid for it, or just get it off my shelf, but that's kind of my question. If they've been sent, now granted, you don't know where these bargain stores got their inventory, but it's like, hey, if we did this, why, okay, I can see you had 3 rows, you went through, and all the crap that was expensive and stuff you sent to a bargain bin, now you're down to 2 rows. You don't still have 3 rows of stuff you can't sell. So, and that was one of the questions I asked, and I think several other people asked too, was how could Jeff tell this stuff has been sitting there? It's not just, hey, they got a new shipment in, recently, and the stuff is selling, but it's just the shelves are always full. But I guess other than dust, or he did say he could probably put a Post-it note on one of them and come back 3 weeks later and it would still be there. But the whole crux of his experiment, if you will, was spawned by an article that was saying how poorly toys in general are selling. So, with that much crap still on the shelf from the previous 2 movies, this new stuff is going to have very little space to go. Or what you're going to see is that stuff is going to push all that stuff to the bargain. You're going to go to the bargain store, you're going to see everything at, 50, 60, 70% off. Or something crazier where it's buy one action figure, get 9 free or something.
At that point, I would, not because I want it, but I would fucking buy something like that. And my mom, when she goes, she goes back to her country, I'm not gonna reveal where that country is. She sometimes sells them over there, and people buy them for a lot more. So it's like, especially due to like the whole the way currency works over there. So it's like for $1 for us. Like if I buy a product here for $1, I can sell it for like $10 over there. You're getting some profit, and you're getting something back in your pocket. You can make money like that.
Yep.
If you know how. If you're very slick and very clever, you can turn something that nobody wants into something that, I may have some consumers that might want this. May have a market somewhere else. They'll buy it. And at the end of the day, you're making more money than the store did.
Yep. Quite possible.
Exactly.
All right. Any other thoughts on the toy glut?
No, I've said my piece. I know we've rambled on about it, but it really needs to be said because, again, this is all telling not only about Star Wars in general, but also what could happen to any other franchise. I mean, look at Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
I still see the shitbusters on shelves. I saw them in clearance, but if I look for something with classic Ghostbusters, unfortunately, they have to put classic on it now.
Right.
If you find an item, you may want to buy it that moment. I mean, yeah, some of them occasionally do go in clearance, but it's usually 1 or 2. It's not like an entire fucking shelf.
Right. And I think Jeff was talking about that last year, too, where he saw the computer somewhere. I remember reading about it, that somewhere a computer made the new... before the movie was out, the new toys were on clearance. I think I got a Toys R Us or something, and it was only the new figures. The old figures in the new boxes were still full price.
Yeah.
So, and that was telling. And so we'll see what happens with the new release of Episode 8 toys, how quickly stuff goes on sale. Many of them look like horrible. Rey being probably, I think, one of the worst looking ones. Rose, I don't really care for. Again, and Rose is not really a Star Wars name. Paige doesn't look great. And then, of course, you can get your Porg figure with the with one of those Imperial cuckoids. But
those Porg figures don't even. Porgs don't even. And listen, I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan, but if you show me something, like in like some type, like even the Ewoks or whatever, I will look at them and be like, you know what, this looks like it could be a Star Wars thing. The Porgs do not look like Star Wars, like anything. Like they look like they had no imagination when they created. They just said, all right, let's take a penguin, let's give it long legs, let's remove its beak, big bug eyes. There we go. The people will buy this shit because, again, going back to the whole nostalgia thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Do they have long legs? They seem awfully short.
I looked it up online. I did a Google search for images, and they show it's not like long legs, but it's not, penguins don't really have like long legs. They have like really small legs, and they waddle when they walk. Yeah. These actually have like a little more like stick figure legs. Like they're a little longer. So they're not exactly penguins. I think they figured, oh, well, it looks too much like a penguin. Let's just make the feet longer so nobody will notice. Like, again, consumers are not that retarded. They're not that stupid. Like, come on, give us a little more credit.
Yeah, it's almost like they almost look like a puffin, like a cross between a puffin and a penguin without the beak. Pretty
much. If anything, I would go as far as say it looked like a failed Pokemon reject. Like, yeah, I went there. It really does, and you know,
and they've got the very short. Yeah, it's like you took a penguin, put puffin legs on it, gave it feathers, and then blew up the back of their head so their eyes got all buggy, and that's the Porg. And we'll take the beak off.
Yeah. Hopefully, with the debacle over all the toys still on the shelves now, the stores will order less, and Disney will see diminishing returns and realize they're fucking things up.
Yeah. Always
We
hope.
can only hope, Tommy. We can only hope.
And hope if they do figure that, they don't double down and say, oh yeah, we're going to even make it. You think we're bad now? Just wait, buddy.
Because if I'm running a store and I still have a bunch of stuff that's been sitting there for 2 years, the last thing I'm going to do is just go ahead and be like, well, I need to get a bunch of stuff for episode 8 and anticipating of all these people buying toys.
Yeah, you're right.
And it's going to be like, no, I might order 1 or 2 cases and just let it go.
All right. Well, we'll see. All righty. So one of the other things that we had released this week, actually I think today, I know I put the link out today. Now it was in Japanese when the narration was, but most of it was in English, and that was a trailer number 3 for Thor Ragnarok, and
Guys,
we have Doctor Strange in it.
I
Yes.
hate to interrupt, but I got to go. I
All
have
right.
church in the morning.
Okay, Tommy.
So
Well, Tommy,
thanks,
it was
thanks for
nice
having me
to know.
on.
Oh, definitely, man. You definitely were nice insight. You definitely had a great insight and everything. Nice meeting you and everything.
You taught more
take
than
care of
Dan.
Oh, there definitely.
Yeah,
Emotionally
okay.
gutted.
it's all right.
And,
I enjoyed meeting you too, even if you're from south of the border.
Well, we make a nice tortilla every so often. So if you ever decide to come down here, of course, avoid the the cartels. If you ever make it past them, well, we can enjoy a nice Mexican beer and some tortillas or two.
I live in Salt Lake City. I'm not going to that demon town that you live in.
Oh, well.
We also have another name for where I live. It's called Hell. Not even the devil wants to touch this place.
That's where Hell's Kitchen is.
That's a nice story.
All right. See you later, man.
All right, bye, guys.
Here, Tommy.
Oh, I'm glad he's finally gone. Gee whiz. All right, so Thor
I thought he was
Ragnarok
a
trailer.
kid.
Did you watch that?
Yeah, actually, I was watching it actually a couple times throughout this whole thing. I didn't get a chance to see it earlier until you told me. So I was like, all right, let me watch this. And sure enough, Doctor Strange. I'm almost like wondering, okay, what's gonna happen now? I had the volume very low, so I didn't really get to hear it. But just the look of it alone, the trailer, yeah, they still had the elements from the previous trailers. But just that Doctor Strange reveal, like, damn, what is Marvel doing? I'm not saying like in a bad way. I mean, like I say that with a little bit of, I'm saying that with excitement in my voice. Like I want to know what's going to happen.
Right, and it looked like that was. It seemed that, based on what he said to Thor, it felt like it was early on in the movie. Almost, it's like the setup. So I think it was in like the first or second trailer. Said Thor, he lost his hammer and then he like got knocked out, or he went on a journey of discovery and then he woke up on that planet where he ends up fighting. Hulk. So we'll see, obviously, but I have very reserved emotions for this movie because it's like there's been some other Marvel movies that had great trailers that the movies were mediocre. I hated Thor 2. I really felt conned into watching it. And so if it really needs to move the ball. I mean, I know Jeff likes Civil War. I thought Civil War was boring. It was predictable.
To each their own, man. To each their own.
Yeah, I know. But it was just... But I thought Winter Soldier was even worse. I mean, I watched Winter Soldier and I was just like, this movie does not need to be here. It felt so forced. And I don't know if it was... I think the line delivery, especially the way Scarlett Johansson was delivering her lines, it really felt like her character had gone one direction and was suddenly going a different direction. And it was like, I don't know. And it may be that fatigue was starting to set in already, and I just didn't recognize it. But I also watched Winter Soldier on DVD, on Blu-ray. I did not see it in theaters. But Civil War to me was
make the difference.
yeah. But Civil War was just it felt heavy-handed. It felt childish. Like I said, very predictable. Once it started, I was like, okay, I know what's going to happen. I can just skip to the end. This is just stupid. And, I get it. I mean, I did see, I don't know if it was the director. I don't know if it was the director or the writer, but I did see an interview with one of the guys involved with it later. We have to just do this and that, and it's like having a team together, and then suddenly have infighting, and then have an outside source that gets them back together is so cliche. It's like, really, you did that? You couldn't think of anything different? So, but that's obviously what's going to happen in the very next movie. I wouldn't be surprised if 10 minutes into Infinity War, they're all buddy-buddy again. Hopefully it's not that soon. I actually don't. Hopefully they don't even come back together until maybe 2/3 or more through the way of the movie, when several of them have been killed. And it's kind of like, okay, separate, we're losing big time. We have to come together. We have to put our petty differences aside, or we're going to get annihilated. It should be like the last 15 minutes where they start.
No,
to come
that definitely sounds more of like how the story should be, especially with the way that Civil War ended. It was like, we're all going our separate ways, but yeah, we're going our separate ways, but yeah, we can still talk, type of deal. So if anything, I would agree with you in that it shouldn't be like, oh, we get buddy in like the first 10 minutes. Rather, it should be more like, we need to really get buddy right now because there's like no other choice. Like later towards the end of the movie, especially knowing what I know about because I've actually read both the Infinity Gauntlet and the Infinity. What was the next one? I think the second was Infinity War, but with the Infinity Gauntlet, it really, obviously they can't do what they did in Infinity Gauntlet because copyright reasons, especially with like the X-Men, Wolverine, to name a few. And it really became this thing where it's like as the comic progresses, the situation becomes more dire, more desperate. Now they have to resort to even like almost villains to help out, and like you're rooting for almost anything at any point, because it's like it's coming down to like, if there's anybody there that can help, anybody that can defeat Thanos, we need them right now. We don't care who it is. So I kind of want to see a little bit of that. And I could definitely see where you're coming from with Civil War and how it feels predictable and how it's going to carry over to the next movie. Me personally, I would say in terms of like the Marvel movies, even though it's not part of the Marvel expanded universe, I liked Logan more.
Right.
Because it was that whole it was the whole like fathership, like the father, like it was like a fatherhood type of story going on. I mean, there's more to it, but obviously I'm not gonna get into it too much. I just really wanted to see how I enjoyed it more as a movie, what it did right. And mind you, when I saw the trailers for that, I had my worries. So it was more of like, damn it, Fox has been kind of iffy with these movies. I don't know what to make of it. What are they actually trying to do in here? And they added nice little twists in the movie. I mean, I haven't read a lot of comics, so I wouldn't know if there were scenes that were directly from certain comics. But as far as Logan getting older and everything, I know that's from the Old Man Logan stories. So that was that. I had my skepticism, and I was glad that the movie was much, much better than I gave it. I initially had opinions going in. So it's kind of like with Thor Ragnarok. I'm a little excited for it. I definitely haven't. I couldn't finish watching the first one, even though it wasn't what I would consider terrible or anything like that by the stretch of the imagination. But after a while, it was just pulling me in. Like I wasn't interested, and I haven't bothered to watch 2. Everybody, I know Jeff's mentioned 2 is not as bad as it is, but again, like it's one of those things where I have not just gotten myself to want to watch it. I mean, I still haven't watched Doctor Strange, and yet that movie, everybody I've heard talk about it says how great it is. And it's not because of because it's a terrible movie. It's just that I think it's probably that fatigue that's also discussed. It's like, how many more of these can we go before now we're just saying, all right, we need to take a break.
Right. Especially when that was a couple a year, it was bad enough. Now we're getting like 3 or 4 a year. And then DC's in here too. So whatever fatigue you're starting to feel, it's going to be exacerbated by DC movies, even if they are good.
Especially that's one of the reasons I haven't watched Wonder Woman yet. Even though, despite everybody saying how great it is, it's just that fatigue is like, it's really like just getting to you, and you just want to like take a break.
Well, I'll ruin Wonder Woman for you, so you don't have to watch it because it's not that good. But
you've already ruined that numerous times. Unless there's an extended version with like a sex scene or Gal Gadot showing her body, naked body.
Yeah.
I really could care.
Yeah, it's.
I was asking me if I watch it because it's feminist much. I was like, nah. Compared to Ghostbusters, I don't think it's.
Yeah, compared to Ghostbusters, no, but it is there, but it's like I'm a spoiled little child woman who gets whatever I want type of messaging. It's not woo-woo woman power. Because that was one of the things that I think I've even mentioned it. There was something, after I watched the movie, there was something that was pestering me about it, and I could not figure it out for a couple of weeks afterward. She's not even the hero. And I've even said that to people even women who've loved the movie, and I said, yeah, but she wasn't the hero. You take Chris Pine out of that movie, and there's nothing happens, literally. You know, her fighting of Ares in the end is immaterial, no bearing on the story whatsoever.
I remember hearing that review and the guys giving their alternate ending.
Right.
How they said something like it wasn't Ares, so she just killed the guy for no reason. I was like, damn, that would have been a sick way to end the movie.
Yeah. Oh, I think that would have been. She kills the general. Because I don't think they were counting on a sequel. Because they're telling how popular it is. And it's like this movie, it did well. It did better than some of the other DC movies, although when you adjust for inflation, it didn't. It was in more theaters than some of the other ones and for a lot longer time. And I think that's where the agenda played out. There was some in the movie, but the agenda really played out and how long they kept it in theaters and kept it in first run release. And it took weeks and weeks and weeks for it to build up to stuff that other movies had already surpassed or had been moved on to other theaters. And, Steve is the hero of that movie. The only thing she does is translate the Notebook, and that's literally it. As far as the overall process of the movie, if someone else translates the Notebook, she literally does nothing in the entire movie. Now you might say, well, she does save Steve, but okay, but that's it. So when he was about to drown or something, but that was just really contrite and shoved into the story. Because originally she finds him washed up on the beach. It's not that they say she saves him. And it's more than one of them. So anyway, I don't want to talk about Wonder Woman anymore. So
no, just wanted to make one last. Actually, this was actually related to what we were talking about just a moment ago with the figures and everything.
Figures, go ahead.
Yeah, because what was it? The whole you were talking about how people go on and how they love the movie, and yet when I've been to some stores, I've seen the Wonder Woman merchandise. They were again for a movie that got hyped up, and people were talking about how they love the movie. I got the T-shirt. I'm a fan now and everything, and I'm like, well, you're big fans, and how come I see a lot of this Wonder Woman merchandise now in clearance or stocked up on shelves, not moving or anything? So again, going back to the whole talking about fandoms and everything, or how much people claim they're fans now, whatever they want to say, it's really telling when you see the merchandise still in stores, still occupying what is essentially valuable space to that store. And all it really is that it's this agenda pushing. I mean, that's all really I wanted to say about that. I'm not going to go any further.
Well, I wonder, that stuff still being on shelves, I wonder how much of it is the studios pressuring retailers to keep it.
I could tell you, like, when I went to FYE, with FYE, they're very, like, they try to follow trends. So if, like, let's say every time there's a new release or a new movie coming out, they'll try to push merchandise related to that particular movie. Like, for example, with Power Rangers, they got like shirts. They'll try to put those like in the front feature of the store. Wonder Woman is another example. Star Wars is another one. Like, so that's how it works. I know with bigger stores they have like more space. This is a smaller store, smaller chain, so they'll probably have like a smaller feature, but it's dedicated to that thing. And you go, like, especially when I was talking about the Funko Pops, and the one thing about that type of merchandise is even people who don't like, let's say you're not a Wonder Woman fan, but you collect those pops, people will buy them regardless. you still see the Wonder Woman's ones there, and some of them are been marked down for clearance. So again, it's really telling. Not only that one, but the Star Wars one too. So it's really telling, and I mean, we'll see how all this goes. Again, the Thor Ragnarok thing. Hopefully it's good. I don't want to be disappointed when I go into the movie theaters. Is all.
Yeah, because that's kind of where I am. Because I've seen, like I said, several movies over the last several years have had great trailers. I go to see them. Now, the biggest one being The Force Awakens, but other ones have just like, this is a great trailer. All three trailers have been great. I like Kate Beckinsale. Blanchett. She looks really evil as the Death Witch and all, or whatever her, the God of Death. And it's like, man, because I tell you what, if I see this movie and it's a disappointment, I don't know what would get me back in the theaters ever again. I mean, for years. Because it was like, fool me once, fool me twice, fool me 5 times. Now I'm really done.
I agree. All
right, so I don't know if we had anything else. We don't know what the hell happened to Kendo.
I don't know. He was busy.
He's too big for us anymore. He's on that other show. So.
Well, I mean, hey, if it helps the main podcast, by all means. I mean, that's what we were here for originally.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just really don't know what else to say.
All right. So, wait, hold on a second. I'm getting a call. Hello?
Really?
Yep.
This late?
What's up, fuckhouses?
Hey.
What?
I just got in and I figured I'd see if you guys were still recording or if you were after party and see how it went.
No, we're about done.
Yeah. How was the show?
Pretty boring.
Pretty good.
No.
Was it? Oh yeah. Did Liquid Metal Pro do that thing where he's like, "Oh yeah, I just want to make a point real quick right here," and then talks for like 20 minutes?
Yeah, I kind of went Dave Meltzerish on this whole thing.
Yeah, it happens. So, was it just you two guys tonight?
Well, we had some. LMP found some guy named Tommy, but he had to go to church or something.
Tommy.
Yeah, apparently he likes to drown his brother or something, or toss him down the stairs. I don't remember.
I think he's Brian Callaghan's brother or something.
Well, maybe. Who knows? Fuck. Kids these days. That's cool. I'm glad you guys had a decent show so far. You still got some stuff to do? Or are you done? Or what's going on here?
Well, I think we covered all of our points, but we were debating whether or not we want to do our own game or do a version of the game that you guys did last night. I don't know. So
it was only 2 of us, so it's not like we really had anything going there.
Well, here, I got a game for you guys. Check this link. It is the top 50 movies of the 1980s. We'll porn title those motherfuckers.
Porn title these motherfuckers, huh?
Yeah, I think that'd be kind of fun to do. So we won't do it like where we get... Jesus Christ, what are you guys doing? Fucking blowing glass?
Well, maybe Cut Muffin, but me, I was actually about to start searching to see if there's any new fapping and shit.
Jesus
Christ. Heard this
like
hacker known as 4chan.
Chewing a horse.
I'm scraping up my rice.
Oh.
Eat too much of that stuff and you'll start seeing the world through slanted eyes.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, no, so here's what we'll do. You guys got that list. Just pull it up, and then we'll just go around in a circle. I will, just pick one out, and there you go. Just pick one and say, this is the movie, and here's what I think the porn title should be. We can either add on to it, or we could just go to the next guy. It's up to you.
All right, cool.
I don't know. What about you, Brainmuffin? You want to do this?
Yeah, let's go.
Damn, I was about to go see some damn good fine nudes, but all right, whatever.
Just fucking play the game. How hard is it?
All right, I'm gonna go with the obvious one and go to number.
Not that smart.
Hey, I'm gonna go with item number 2 on this list: the Goonies and the boobies.
All right, Liquid Metal Pro.
Actually, item number 1, Masters of the Universe. I'm gonna go Masturbators of the Universe.
All right, I got one better than that. Instead of Masters of the Universe, it's Blasters of the Analverse.
And I was thinking Masters of the Analverse, so that's funny.
Oh man, that was much better.
I like Blasters of the Analverse. That's definitely.
All right.
Is it gonna have that, like, you ever watch Scary Movie 1 and 2 where Cindy came on by whatever guy it was, and it was like a whole fucking gush or something, like it was like a fucking fire hose or something?
No.
Oh, come on.
So I'm going to scroll down to the bottom here, and I'm going to take one towards the bottom, Pretty in Pink. Instead of that, it's going to be called Pussies Are Pink.
Ooh.
Because, well, they are.
Coming in the pink.
Ah.
Okay. All right, Brian, back to you.
The Outsiders. The Inside Hers.
Okay.
There you go. That was creative.
It was.
All right. Bean or Joe?
I'm gonna try this one right here, the Never Ending Story. The Ever Coming Glory Hole.
There you go. That's a good one. I like that one. All right. So I'm going to take Fast Times at Ridgemount High and turn it into Fuck Times at Bitchmount High.
Yeah, I don't have anything better than that.
I got nothing.
So I'm going to do Dirty Dancing. It's just Dirty Dancing.
Yeah, it's kind of got a porn title all to itself. It's kind of like the Nut Job, too. It's like, man, you really can't improve on that one. It's already sounds like porn. All right, Javier.
All right. The Terminator, I guess I'll just make it simple. The Cuminator.
Yeah, or the
All he does is come.
All right.
The Assassinator.
Yeah. I'm going to go, I'm going to take a gimme here and just change Dune to Poon.
Oh, wow. I just saw that one, too. Damn, how did I miss that?
Raiders of the Lost Ark. Raiders of the Lost Ass. That's what I was going to say. I completely train of thought derailed. I'm choking on a peanut. Hold on.
Wait, you're choking on a nut?
Yeah, I had Kung Pao chicken and it's kind of stuck.
Kung Pao. All right. Javier.
16 candles, I guess. 16 anals.
There you go. All right. I'm going to take Coming to America and change that to Coming All Over America.
I'm sorry, but that one already sounded like a poor title for a second.
Yeah. Coming in America. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Ferris Bueller's Day Off to Ferris Bueller Gaze Off.
Huh, I wonder what that's about.
Wonder if Cuckin would enjoy that.
Maybe.
Maybe lots.
Shit. Damn, some of these, I'm trying to think of some of the names for some of these. Alright, I'm gonna just have to do a throwaway, and maybe you guys can improve on this one. So, Rain Man, Jizz Man, I don't know.
I mean, you could. There's a lot of things you could go with there. I don't really know off the top of my head how to improve it. I was gonna go with Footloose and just change it to Puss Loose. Essentially, it'd be about a woman just taking every dick on the planet.
Butt loose.
All shapes, all sizes.
Holy
fuck loose would be a good one too.
So here's a poorly obvious one. E.T. the extra testicle.
There you go.
How did I miss that one?
I think we did that joke back in '82, actually.
Yeah, because Cheech and Chong did that joke and Still Smoking. That's where I got it from when he was like talking about Eddie Torres, the extra testicle.
Yeah.
Cheech. Hit. All right. LMP.
All right, so I know this is changing the title a lot, but fuck it. Predator, pretty obvious one. Sexual predator.
There you go. It's a rape fantasy.
Well, I am brown, and apparently we are rapists, so.
Yeah, well, everybody knew that.
Hey, I'm just appropriating my own culture. That's all.
Right. I'll change Excalibur to Fist Caliber. And essentially, it's about a guy with a giant iron fist going around fisting women.
I would watch that.
Yeah. The Empire Strikes Back to The Empire Strikes Ass.
Clever.
Uh,
All right. Die Hard. Pretty obvious one. Come Hard.
What about Die Soft?
or Dick Hard.
Dick Hard. Oh, that's actually better.
I'm gonna keep up with my fisting theme and change the Breakfast Club into the Fuck Fist Club.
The fuck?
Oh. How about the Slut Mare on Elm Street?
The slut mayor of Elm Street. There
Slut
you go.
Mare, instead of Nightmare. Did anybody do Beetlejuice?
Nah,
No, but
I
you
haven't
can call
touched that
it.
one yet.
It could be like butthole juice.
Beetlejuice.
Could turn Blade Runner into Gape Runner.
All right, Alan P. Sorry.
Gaping.
Damn. I'm trying to think. Trying to think of a good one. Okay, I got one. So this will probably fly over people's heads, but the Lost Boys, the Fuck Boys.
Yeah. Right, it's pretty standard. Stand By Me, just change it to Come On Me, starring like Rachel Starr
Yeah.
and Genevieve Jolie.
Inner Space, In Her Face.
Yeah, or In Her Space.
Or In Her Space. Or In Her Ass.
In her ass space.
In her ass space.
Yeah.
All
Let's go around one more time and then we'll move on.
right, so I'll just pick one at random here. Dirty Dancing. Dirty Fucking, I guess.
Should have probably said that when Brian did Dirty Dancing.
Oh shit, I didn't. Oh, I forgot about that one. Oh damn. So let me just come back to me. I'm gonna see if I find something a little better.
The Thing, you could just change it to The Thing in My Pants.
The Thing Comes at Night.
Yeah. The Thing in My Pants comes at night.
That's a complete sentence. So I'm gonna borrow another one from Dustin and change Willow into Pillow. I guess no one gets it.
I mean, it could be changed to Bite the Pillow.
You suffocate them and then you do.
So are we promoting like necrophilia or something?
No,
That's what I heard.
no.
Okay. I don't know. You said something about suffocating with a pillow. I'm like, I don't know if I like where that's going.
Just make them pass out.
Oh, so it's a rape joke again, I guess.
It's going in her ass. That's where it always has to go, right? You don't get pregnant that way.
Indeed. You know what? This was a pretty simple one. Police Academy. Fuck Academy.
Pussy Academy.
Pussy Academy. Also good. I think we did most of these already.
Yeah, I think we covered the good ones.
Did we do Indiana Jones and the Temple of Poon?
No, but that was one I was thinking of when I was scrolling through. But that would be an apt one as well. The Temple of Poon.
Well, boom.
Yep.
All right.
He's not trying to recover rocks. He's trying to get his rocks off.
Good on.
He's trying to get his rocks recovered.
So
Gotta get rock hard.
well, there you go. You guys got to play the game like they played on the show.
Yay! We
All
feel
right.
special
Fun.
again.
Where's Reality's cuck?
Apparently he got swallowed up by another reality, so he might be a while. It might be a while before you can get him back.
Yeah, he's
happens.
moving or something. I don't know. I thought I understood, and then he sent a message today, and I'm like, that doesn't. that does not go with my understanding. So I guess I'm wrong.
Yeah, as long as he's back by the time we do the Monster Rumble.
Yeah.
Because I've got most of it booked. I've called up the various monsters, and I've got just about all of them agreed to doing it.
All right.
So I should hopefully have the confirmation on the rest of those for this coming week.
Wait. I'm sorry. This one just came to me, guys. One more, and that's it. The Karate Kid, the Bukkake Kid.
There you go.
All right.
Keeping it Japanese even. That's great. That's awesome.
Awesome.
Awesome sauce.
Well, glad you guys were able to have a good show without me being on most of it.
Oh, well, maybe the next. I mean, I don't know. And hopefully, the next person we invite probably ain't some serial killer or something. Try to stalk us or ask us where we live, or God forbid, even worse, tell us to skim movies and review it.
Yeah, well, I'm probably doing some skimming of movies myself here soon.
Are you gonna give them 5 stars each?
Oh yeah, of course.
All right.
Yeah, every skimmed movie's a 5 stars.
Well, being on the show is cool. It should be fun, but I'll still remember you guys because even though I'm too big for this show now, I'll still remember the little people.
Well, we thank you,
and I'll drop in from time to time to hang out.
Yeah, it'll be weird at not having somebody to constantly point out how much of a beaner I am.
Oh, I'll still find a way to do it, even if I'm just like spam messaging you when I know you guys are recording.
It's gonna be weird. Like, I need all right, man. Brainmuffins, you're gonna have to start making some Mexican jokes eventually.
Yeah, dude, I can get you a whole list of jokes about Mexicans if you need them.
All right. I mean, we I'm sure we did a lot of jokes back in the 70s, but I don't remember it that far back in time anymore. Yeah. So, so on last night's show, obviously you became the replacement Dustin, and Dustin's moving on to
perpetuity.
Yeah, right. So I guess I don't know if Jeff's going to do a version 2 of the T-shirt since people have moved on to other shows. Some people have kind of moved on. It was good to hear Dan again, although a couple times it felt like he must have fallen asleep or something.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on there. Like because he was on there because he was the birthday boy, and he would just like pop up with like a comment out of nowhere every few minutes. Actually, more like every 30 minutes. I don't know what he was up to. Probably jacking it furiously for his birthday.
I was gonna say maybe a birthday blowjob, but if I'm jacking, it seems more like the thing that probably happened.
Yeah, either that or he just was having breathing troubles and he had to like constantly be on his inhaler.
Because I think Dion and Dustin both were like, Dan, are you there? And he never replied. And then he replied like 20 minutes later. He would just say, emotionally gutted.
That happened times he did.
Yeah. So there's a lot of big things they got coming up with the show. So stay tuned because they're already making plans for gearing up for Schlocktober Fest.
Right.
Several drunk commentaries are planned, and other drunk commentaries, not just for Schlocktoberfest. There's a lot. There's just got Jeff and Nick have got a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that they've got playing. It should be a really exciting time. They're almost to their 2-year anniversary.
Yep.
That'll be coming up in a couple months.
Damn, really?
Yep.
Yeah. They launched in October of 2015, I believe.
Yeah. I remember. Damn,
I found him in December 2015. So I think Brian did too.
Yeah,
and
somewhere in there, December, January, somewhere in that time frame.
Yeah, so the 2-year anniversary will be coming up. The 100th episode shit's coming up, and got some big plans for that as well. And just in general, they've really got a lot of exciting stuff coming on. So for the few people that listen to the Fancast that also listen to the show from a behind the scenes insider view that I now have. There's a lot of really exciting shit getting ready to come down the pipe. So clearly they have gone from being just a small channel with a few followers to exploding over their course of their... Well, they exploded during their first year because they had the Shitbusters video. But the second year, they've doubled, I would say, easily doubled, almost doubled, probably their subscriber numbers in the second year since then, because it's been a little over a year since the Shitbusters. So exciting times.
Oh, absolutely.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, hit 4,000 subscribers today. 5,000 should be on the horizon.
Yeah, we talked about that, and I mean, we're up to 30. Woohoo!
Nice.
But and we're and listeners, we'll start reading the comments when it's not us just talking to one another. So and that's part of why we make comments on behalf of the Fancast in the various videos, especially the episodic videos things for WCBS. So excuse me. But those of you guys who listen, we're probably going to be having more. We'll look at doing more guest spots from time to time, and so let us know if you have interest or if you have other questions. Now, obviously, with Kendo being more available through this podcast to the main one, you could also possibly get some things that way. I don't want to speak for Jeff and then invite 1,000 questions like we've got an inside track, because it's still Jeff's show that we're based on. And but part of us, the whole point of this show was we wanted to be able to talk back and talk about without having to be on the show. Now, granted, a couple weeks ago we all were, and that was exciting. It was quite tiring, almost 4 hours. So
yeah, it's still one of the best shows I've ever heard of.
It's
podcast.
Yeah, it was a lot of great chemistry. Now, granted, we didn't have Dion on. I think if Dion would have been on, we may have done 5 or 6 hours just between Kendo and Dion. It would have been great. But to see the show, the main show change, and we've obviously changed a little bit. We were just 3 of us like tonight. At first, we picked up Frank's. Did it again. Reality's Frank. We picked up Oggs. They'll be back from time to time. Reality's Frank is just, he's dealing with some crap, and he'll be back as soon as possible. And we've also had some guests a couple times, and at least I feel that we'll look to do that again sometime. And it's just, a lot of it's just going to depend on what's going on, and I'm looking forward to Schlocktoberfest. Being the only one who bought the T-shirt last year, which is just kind of weird to me, but and that'll be other things to talk about, and who knows, after the monster stuff, we might do something else. I don't know if it'll be Halloween related, but part of it is to start branching off into things of our own that are in the greater WCBS world or universe. They kind of fit in, and the monster battle obviously does.
The WCBS extended universe.
Extended universe. There you go. Absolutely. And so,
I definitely have a few ideas. Like once we get to October, things that we could talk about. Maybe we could start doing a few short videos of our own. Nothing that is related to the not in a sense not related to the podcast, but maybe in a sense it's an extension of it.
Yeah, and that's the whole point. We want to be an extension. We're not competition.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I definitely want to stay attached to this show, because when I'm on this show, it's like I'm on my show, Brian's show, Liquid Up. It's like our show, my show type thing. Right. So I have more freedom here to create things if I wanted to. And but when I'm on the bullshitters, I'm a part of that show now. I told Jeff though, I was like, I still have a hard time referring to myself as a world class bullshitter and using the our show we type thing, because last night him and Nick and Dion and I were hanging out until Dion fell asleep and was snoring extremely loudly into his microphone.
Wow.
That's the type of perspectives I can now bring to this show, talking about a few behind the scenes things that are just funny. I'm not going to give away any trade secrets or anything like that. Although the funny thing is, trade secret, Jeff really is the one that does Dion's voice, just saying. So if you guys are listening, there's a little inside secret. Dion doesn't really exist. It's actually Jeff putting on a voice.
Pre-recorded for our pleasure.
Yeah, because that's why the after shows of World Class Bullshitters. I knew it went long from being on the guest episode a couple weeks ago, and then last night again we were hanging out for a couple hours after the show was over because Jeff had to go back and record lines to edit in as Dion Green, and it was great. It was fun because I could just sit there and listen to him doing it, and it was a lot of fun.
There's always a conspiracy.
Yeah.
It's not a conspiracy. A conspiracy would be, do we think this is happening? I just confirmed that it's happening. It's not a conspiracy. Jesus. Fucking tinfoil hat wearing fucking beaner.
Hey, it's the only one we could afford.
ICE isn't around every fucking corner, man.
Just most
please.
of them.
I got my get out of jail free card, so I only get one.
Yeah, well, somebody should take away your fucking green card.
It's not even green. It's like orange or something.
Yeah, I know. I hid my Canadian roommate's green card one time for fun when he was getting ready to leave to go back to Sarnia, Ontario, and for an hour he was running around like freaking out. It was funny shit. He got like pissed, but like after like a couple minutes of him actually finding it, then like the relief kicked in, and he's like, "Dude, while that's really funny, never fucking do that again." He goes, "Cause if I have that, I can't get home, and then at the same time, if I get stopped and I don't have it, they're gonna send me back to Canada." I was like, "CC'd get home either way." So, but yeah, no, there's like back to what I was saying about the freedom stuff, because like since October was brought up, there's a couple of things I had planned or thought of for October, and I mean we could also do like, because the guys on the main show can't do every commentary of movies that is out there because there's just not enough time. They have jobs. They're real people too, and so like we could always pick up like some commentaries here and there too to have for our channel, just as an extension of the brand. And then like again, we could also create our own little stuff. Like we could have our own little shitty Schlocktoberfest. It'd be like, I don't know, what's worse than schlock?
Is that really like a trick question?
No, I'm just wondering because like that's what schlock means. Like, isn't it like a cheap, whatever?
Oh, that way, yeah. I was just thinking Cocktoberfest.
Oh, okay. I was just thinking of something that
Cocktober. Yeah, no, we're not doing. Yeah, we're not doing Cocktoberfest. That's why Dustin left the show. That's what he's going to be working on. But no, like schlock, it's like cheaper, inferior. So what's more cheaper and inferior than schlock? So whatever that is, we could have that for our
probably an outright bootleg.
Yeah, or just like fucking. We could have our we could just call it flea market Schlocktoberfest or something. I don't know.
Bargain Basement, Cheap Jack, El Cheapo, X Scrabble, Jim Crack, Inferior, Junkie, Lousy, Low Grade, Low Rent, Mediocre, Miserable, Poor, Rotten, Rubbish, Second Rate, Shoddy, Sleazy, Terrible, Trashy, Trumpery, Wretched. Well, you asked.
Thank you for taking us. I didn't expect to go on a trip through the fucking thesaurus.
Well, you just did.
Yeah, I know.
I'm surprised he didn't toss it at you.
I went to Webster.com.
Anyway, so we could always incorporate. And Jeff we'll always seek his blessing, obviously, because I've done so on several occasions in regards to the show, because I never wanted to be like a rip-off or be accused of ripping him off or anything like that, and that's fine. So
here, exactly. No,
because they are the hand that feeds, and we're definitely not wanting to bite it.
Yep.
Although technically, I'm part of the hand that feeds, so would I be biting my own hand?
Yeah, you're one of the fingers. So.
Huh? That's
how's
fucked
it
up.
taste?
Gina Davis wants to be in Wonder Woman 2. Oh, did I just laugh? Sorry.
Wait, what?
I'm going through our Twitter feed. Oscar winner Gina Davis wants to be in Wonder Woman 2. So will that turn it into Wonder Woman Cutthroat Island?
Yeah, maybe. Wonder Woman 2, The Quest for More Sandwich Making.
Well, I want to know is what male lead are they going to get in Wonder Woman 2 to make this movie a success?
Yeah, Boyega.
Yeah, Boyega. There we go. Why not?
Funny he has boy in his name.
Yeah, but he's English, so it doesn't matter.
Fuck Boyega.
I think his dad's Nigerian or something. So, okay. I believe the only thing we've got left is this week's BBC.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys haven't done that yet?
Nope.
All right. Okay.
It's your segment, dude. I mean, you tell us who it is, but it's your segment as far as I'm concerned.
All right. Well, I'll just give you guys. How about Salma Hayek?
Sounds good.
All right.
Opposition.
All right.
Very nice.
Welcome to the BBC Hall of Fame, Salma Hayek.
Definitely a beautiful lady. It's only getting more beautiful with age.
Yeah. Like a fine wine.
God damn. I gotta search the fact now.
Or in my case, a fine beer, since I can't drink wine. So.
Well, okay.
Just wish I had a beer right now.
I have a beer right now, but it's the only one I have. It was my last one left over from my Cervezas de Mexico 12-pack that I had for the show last night.
Yeah. And you weren't, so you just had the beer? You weren't dive bombing them or anything?
No. It was going to be my first show or time on the show as a regular, and I was like, I'm going to go ahead and try to take this as, like, conservative as possible when it comes to the boozing. So I just stuck to the beer. I had a little Dos Equis. There was some Sol, Tecate Light, and a new Dos Equis. It's a Dos Equis Blanco. Well, new to me. It's like a wheat beer for Dos Equis. I don't know. I don't like it nearly as much as I like Dos Equis and the Dos Equis Amber. So take it for what you will. But yeah. That's all I got. All right. If people want to comment and ask questions, I will answer them the best as I can and possibly take them to the main show and be like, hey guys, Fancast questions were asked for this, and this. What can I and what can't I answer?
Right. And the other thing we didn't do, LMP, is we talked about the show, but we didn't even give out any of the addresses or nothing. So, listeners, if you want a quicker and more direct line to the main show, go to the Patreon page and donate.
Yes, I have an even more of an incentive right now to get you guys to buy shit.
Yep. Or you can go to. So, what's the name of the place where they can get T-shirts and posters and all kinds of other stuff?
Incarnate-studios.com, and don't forget the fucking hyphen.
Buy that goddamn T-shirt already.
Give us your money. And then worldclassbs at mail.com.
It's the best mail.
.com. We'll put all the links, as always, to the main show, to their other things, to the Patreon page, as well as their Twitter. I think it's WorldClassBS on Twitter as well.
I believe so.
As has been stated, and there is those who are on Facebook, there is a Facebook fan page where we all release and chat amongst ourselves. This is where I've been posting links today about different things. I'm not the only one to post links, and we have some nice conversations. And if you're on Twitter and you leave messages, that's usually Nick that's responding, and then Jeff does the emails, which hasn't been a whole lot of emails recently. So I think people are responding in other avenues other than email. Hasn't done a goop mail in a long time either, so we'll see. And we'll put links to our stuff as well. Obviously, you're on YouTube. We'll put links to our Twitter feed, and we retweet some weird stuff too. And thanks to Nick, some of the things that he follows, we follow just because. And we are done. I have been your designated driver, Brainmuffin, tonight, and we had a late arrival of Kendo Slice.
Catch me on the flagship. Catch me right here. Catch me anywhere you want, and I'll catch your sister from behind in the back seat of my car or something like that. I don't.
And Kendo is also on Ring Rust Tuesday nights, and we'll link to that as well.
Wednesday nights.
Sorry. And we've also had all the way from parts to the north, northeast. We've had Liquid Metal Pro.
Guys, I'm stuck on the top of the fence. I tried to hop one and my pants got caught.
Just take them off.
All right. Damn it, I'm still stuck.
So we will see you next week, where we discuss all things WCBS and whatever else Jeff has decided to release to the world. Bye.
Good night.